fungi and mushrooms. What's the difference?
Okay. Oh, there's a really good answer to this. Let me see if I can get it out of my mouth. Okay. So all mushrooms are fungi, but not all fungi are mushrooms.
Ooh.
So, are you ready? Right?
Yeah.
So let me think if I've got this for you. So a mushroom is a type of fungus, but also a coral is a type of fungus. Or cordyceps, which is something I can imagine is on the tip of your tongues today. Cordyceps is a kind of fungus. Balls, smuts, rusts, crusts are all type of fungi. But the mushrooms is the one that we think of most, and they're all a type of fungus. So fungi, a big umbrella, if you imagine it, and underneath are all these different spin-offs. So a bit like maybe like dogs, and then you've got chihuahuas and labradors and all the other different species. They're all fungi, and mushrooms is just one type of fungus.
Wow,
Does that answer it? Was that it?
And am I correct in saying this, that mushroom is the fruiting body of the fungi?
Yeah, it's a really important note as well for a lot of people, because understandably nature and the observation of fungi and anything in the natural world where you might be seen to take something from that, people can get upset. Quite understandably, we want to tread lightly on, certainly that's my perspective on things. But it is just a fruiting body. It's rather like the apple on a tree. It is the fruit. Taking the apple off a tree to eat it has no detriment to that tree itself. And this is the same. For anyone that didn't know, the fungus, whether it be a mushroom or a coral-like shape, or a club, like I've mentioned, or a ball, whatever this shape of fungus it takes, that is just the fruiting body, the reproductive part of the fungus organism. The actual body of it, the main body, is underground, or in the bark, or in the tree, whenever the substrate is, the thing that holds the fungus. And most of its life, it spends looking like these white threads. Imagine like cotton wool, all kind of spun out and like pulled out, like a big ball of string all tangled up. That's the mycelium thread.
That's what we interviewed a professor of ecology, and he talked about the wood wide web.
Oh,
and I guess that was how trees talk together via this cotton wool, which you're talking about, this mycelium and mycorrhizal, that these are means of communicating and transferring vitamins and minerals, but they're in fact a fungus. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. That is fungus. And look, without them, this is the big, the heavy stuff, but without it, we wouldn't be here. Over 90% of everything, almost everything living, all that is green, one guy once told me, beautiful fella, depends on fungus. So your garden right now is teeming with fungi. You might not ever see a mushroom in it because it might not have a fruiting body. It might not be that type. But underground, all plants, nearly all plant life, nearly every tree is connected in some form or other underground to a mycorrhizal network or to a fungus, which helps it. They work together, like you say, a symbiotic relationship to help them to grow. And of course, without plants, then there is no humans, because it's an edibility thing, of course, and a sustenance. And the big one, no fungi. This is what someone else. No fungi, no forests, no future. They underpin everything that is our life, really, in terms of what is green and living.
See, that's it's such an amazing linkage there, that no fungi, no forest, no future, and that's such a beautiful way to think about it. Yet when you say the word fungus, which is probably some derivative of fungi, people go, oh, fungus, oh, geez, that's toxic, that's awful. The association is that it's negative and it's going to do something harm. And even fungi, obviously to you, it makes you excited, and you get all, your heart rate increases, and you get, your palpitation. Yes, fungi, woohoo! You get excited. But when most people hear the word fungi, it doesn't necessarily conjure up words of wonder and curiosity in nature. It's typically, oh wow, well that's got molds and other things, and maybe it's not good for me,
Hey, well look, this is like anything in life, isn't it? It's a knowledge thing. A knowledge is power, and so and lots of other things are intrigue. But if you don't know, then that's all that ignorance is. It's just not knowing, isn't it? So that's all I try and do. Just spread the word of just what an amazing thing it is to have fungi in your life. I mean, really, whether it's the medicinal values, the edibility, the magical, the names, the shapes, the smells, the colours, the accessibility, to have fungi in your life in whatever form that takes, and I don't really care. For me, it's all sorts of bits and pieces. It's a shame this for you fellas, actually. I'm sorry, because you might have to do another podcast after this, because I'm just the quality of life, I imagine, improves for you if you get fungi in your lives, I reckon, by 36%. So there might not be a need to tell anyone anything else to make them improve their lives, because I've nailed it. Bring fungi into your lives, and you'll be happy evermore.
Guaranteed money back.
The data is not definite, but I reckon it's around that figure. There are so many avenues of pleasure And it's a hobby for life. And I'm sure you would have looked at the value of hobbies and interests. I don't know if you have or not, but, that's massive in itself. There are so many avenues. And I'm so happy to shout about them, because once people know, they can interact with them in all these different ways, like I said, and the value that can bring to your life. I mean, I am just, as you know, and as you've seen, I'm just in awe of them. And I love how much there isn't a day go by where I don't think of fungus in one way or other, which could obviously make me a dweeb and a nerd as well. I totally get that. But it's all for the good, guys. It's all for the best.
I was just reading that the biggest fungus, the biggest organism on the planet is a fungus over in Oregon, which is 2,200 acres. It's this massive fungus that lives under the ground, and it's a living organism and has lived for, I don't know, who knows exactly how long. But it's the biggest living organism on the planet, and it's a fungi.
Well, yeah, and this is a good example. So this is mushrooms as we know them. So this is the honey mushroom, and you would have probably seen it. As for what it's worth, it is an edible mushroom too. Gives some people a little bit of a gastric upset. But it's a very common mushroom, and it's a parasite. We can maybe come to that later if you want to know about its role in nature, because it's usually very unwelcome in people's gardens. Oh no, I've got honey mushrooms, and that's what that is. What they realised is there's a honey mushroom cluster on this tree here in this forest, and actually in that forest way over there, there's honey mushrooms, and they're connected underground by that mycorrhizal network. It has spread out over hundreds to thousands of years, and it's actually all one mass of fungus underground with fruiting bodies here, over there. So that's how it's one thing. That's how it works.